His articles were just fantastic. So much work that he put into those. And he interviewed me every week, turned his little recorder on and asked me tons of questions. But one question he asked me, he says, "What will you take out of this season?" And when I answered that question, I said, "I see this season as a culmination of two seasons, 2012 and 2013. And I have many, many, many memories. Such great games, such great players that have played here. Fantastic games. We talk about that all the time. But I will certainly, and I'm going to look at all of you when I say this, I am going to remember 2012 for sure, and absolutely for sure 2013. The seniors who are sitting here right now, you continued that work that last year's seniors started, and that was difficult. You sensed that, you sensed the urgency. I didn't know how good we were going to be. We had a lot of question marks, and we even had some doubts. But you guys really stepped up, and you were serious about what you were doing. Whenever practice started, you started practice. I never had to say anything. 2012 dawdled a little bit. You guys never dawdled. You were always out there, ready to start. You always took everything you were doing seriously, and you have no idea what that means to the coaches when that happens. In addition to that, and this includes the managers, maybe this is an overused phrase, you're just a bunch of good guys. You're fun to be around. There are some real characters on this team. One of them is not here tonight. You may know who I'm talking about, Edward. Everybody, you had your own personalities, and as Charlie mentioned in some of his talks, you brought everything together and you created a tremendous memory. This is what we were talking about. You made it to the Final Four. You finished third in state. Not many teams in St. Louis U High soccer history have done that. So you are to be congratulated. And I just want to tell you, thank you, gentlemen, all of you, for a great season, a season that I will never forget, a great memory that I take with me as well. And for that, I'm extremely grateful. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Good afternoon, guys. I'm supposed to take some time to reflect on the season itself in this speech, but I feel like anything I'd have to tell you would be nothing you didn't already know. Instead, I've decided to do my best to give you some perspective about our team that goes beyond any stat, accolade, or newspaper clipping could give you. I hope you guys can appreciate what you've done for your school this year. I don't know if it's quite something for me yet even, but slowly I start to realize more and more what we've accomplished these past few months. We certainly were the boys of fall. I can't help but smile a little bit these days, seeing people sporting the blue and white scarves and t-shirts that we sold for state. Knowing that with 25 of some of the best guys I know, I got to take part in something that was much bigger than myself. We got the great opportunity to see massive numbers of Sluh community, both past and present, come together and put their hopes on us. When you've just started your second lap at Ajax and you already feel the acid pumping in your veins, when you're coming down those long stretches of games and every muscle in your body hates you for giving too much, it can sometimes be easy to question what on earth we're working so hard for. But over the past few weeks or so though, I've been able to see things fall into place, and hopefully you have too. To step back and see what we've done, that's something to be proud of. There are points in this season where we dug ourselves into some holes so deep that the state semifinal wasn't the furthest thing from our mind at the time. But there were also times where we were so hot that no team in St. Louis wanted anything to do with the Junior Bills. Our ability to overcome the obstacles is something I haven't seen seen done even close to as well in any team in my past 3 years on varsity. On those down days, I would see teammates walk out of practice towards the parking lot, and they were dog-tired, overworked, undermotivated, but always better. We never stopped improving. It's truly sad to see it all over. It really does go by as fast as the coaches said it would in the beginning. As an underclassman, you think it will never catch up to you. And as a senior, you fight it off and hold on to every moment. No matter how you each individually regard the season, I hope you all carry a sense of personal accomplishment and fulfillment from what we have been able to create. I also hope those of you with years left in the program take it upon yourselves to better your teammates in the future and model your drive after the team of 2013. District trophies and nail-biting finishes are now fleeting excitements of the past, but I hope you all still consider yourselves part of this team. I feel personally blessed to have gotten to know all of you guys over the past few years. And when that day comes, when we forget the finer details of that game against Chaminade or CBC that one time, I'll always remember you guys' character and companionship. You will always be my Sluh brothers.
Who is John Hafley? This was a recurring question the first time I saw this soccer coaching, football loving, backwards hat wearing Oklahoma fan who is involved with the Sluh program. And I'll never forget the practice last year that Mr. Hafley showed up to in an Oklahoma snapback, a long sleeve button down, khaki pants, and a great pair of topsiders, looking like he just walked out of a frat house. It's true. This was the day that Eddie, Sam, and I decided that Mr. Hafley was, to be quite honest with all of you, the man. He's one of very few coaches that I've talked about football with before, during, and after soccer practice. And when he's not too busy being the man, he actually makes an excellent soccer coach. He's without question one of the most brilliant soccer minds I've ever been around. And he's, whether it was his short and precise passing patterns or shooting drills such as the Brazilian wide thing, which only he could make sound official, though I am 100% sure he made it up. The drills were always beneficial. Throughout these past 2 years, Mr. Hafley did a great job of keeping the team together when things were looking down. After the loss at home this year to Jeff City, everyone was pretty down. Things could have gotten bad, and they most certainly would have gotten worse had Mr. Hafley not reminded us that every game in the regular season was just practice for the postseason. He reminded us that he'd been around the game for many years, and he guaranteed that if we could just stick together, we could make a real run at state. And he was right. We rebounded and went on to have a great year. Mr. Hafley is the quietest of 3 very talkative coaches. Some people might think that this is a result of him not being as emotionally invested since he's not completely affiliated with Sluh. And this could be believable for anyone who doesn't know him very well, like I do, and saw him on the most unforgettable night of my life. That's right, the state quarterfinal victory in penalty kicks against Eureka, to which Mr. Hafley showed up in a puffy CBC coat. I was surprised, a little let down, upset even. And though I personally have never questioned his investment in the team, any potential doubt was removed by the madness ensuing Jack's game-clinching save. After I watched this YouTube video of the penalties, something amazing caught my eye. Just a little behind the field-storming team, but unsurprisingly ahead of the crippled Tommy Hill, was the one and only John Hafley, storming the field like an absolute bat out of hell. Meanwhile, Charlie and Mr. Martell went to shake the Eureka coach's hands. Upon realizing he was dangerously close to engaging in a teenage mosh pit, Mr. Hafley got out of there like he's leaving a crime scene. Too good to be true? I actually thought so too, which is why Jared's over there with evidence. Jared? Oh, you have no idea. Next, Jared. Oh. Yes, he stormed. This is my proof to everyone. And then this is him realizing where he is. Hafley out. Okay. Yeah. Mr. Hafley, thanks for 2 great years on the varsity team. You've been a pleasure to be around and a pleasure to play for. I know my Sluh career is over, but that doesn't mean that our best friendship has to conclude too. My bucket list, as an 18-year-old, it's very short and very simple. Number 1, get into college, check. Number 2, graduate from high school, work in progress. And 3, go to a Rams game with Mr. Hafley, Ed, and Sam. Thanks again, Mr. Hafley. You're the best.
All right, I'm gonna keep this short and sweet for all you guys. From the beginning of last summer, Charlie pushed each and every one of us. He pushed us through insanity workouts, summer camp, and IX. Some of us might have thought the summer was way too demanding and too hot. I would definitely agree, but I would have to say that all of Charlie's activities sure helped us in the long run. Charlie's gritty attitude shaped us into the tough team that we were. Through successes and failures, Charlie urged us to improve and to not be satisfied. When we were playing well, Charlie would acknowledge the fact and express his approval. When we weren't playing so hot, Charlie would be sure to let us know and then tell us exactly how to fix the problems. Charlie wished to win just as bad, if not worse, than all of us. He was very unhappy when we lost, but when we won a big game, few were more excited than him. Charlie's passion for the game of soccer is truly amazing to me. Every day, Charlie had an energy to him. Charlie that in turn carried over to us, the players, and helped us improve. Some days, Charlie would even come out and practice with us. And on these days, as he was playing better than the majority of the team, he would be sure to tell us that it's not that hard of a game, with a big smile on his face. To end, I would like to thank you, Charlie, on behalf of the whole team and everyone present here for a year that none of us will ever forget, and wish you the best of luck in years to come.
Coach Martell, wow, what a guy. I've had the pleasure of getting to know him pretty well over the past 2 years. If there's one thing I have learned about Mr. Martell, it's that he has an incredible way with words. As the members of our team often call him, he is the silent assassin. Before games, he carefully constructs and compiles words, videos, and game plans in order to inspire our best play. However, I would argue that you never fully know Mr. Martell until you see him angry. Although his silence is powerful and often awkward, his words are even more powerful. I had the pleasure, and I stress pleasure, of seeing him angry. Yes, it happened this season a few times after questionable referee calls, but I got to see him have a total meltdown last year during the district final against Chaminade. Only a few people at Sluh get to witness this unforgettable experience, and I am one of those lucky people. However, his anger shows more about him than you would ever imagine. By breaking out of his calm state of being, it shows how important each game is to him and how invested he is as a coach. Mr. Martell truly cares about each one of his players, on and off the field. This is clear to me because I also have Mr. Martell as my senior theology teacher. He goes out of his way to get to know his students and is genuinely interested in them. He is a great example of a man who practices what he preaches. For example, Mr. Martell vowed to never take us to the mall again. Why? Well, Luke Slaughter and I were walking through the mall in Louisville that we decided to go to as a team in order to spend our free time. Eventually, we went in the store Spencer's to look for speakers. As we were leaving, Mr. Martell was passing by and looked at Spencer's with amazing curiosity, clearly not knowing some of the things the store contained. Luke Slaughter and I sat on a nearby bench, smiling ear to ear, as we watched him enter the store in order to quench his curiosity. He was also like Charlie and Mr. Hayfley. A few minutes later, we died laughing as we watched him exit, paralyzed with disgust. Therefore, due to his moral obligations, Sluh soccer will never see another ball again. My time with Sluh soccer, and especially my years on varsity, have been quite the ride. Through the success, failures, mistakes, and Charlie's craziness, the silent assassin has always been there, encouraging me to be humble in my successes and grateful in my losses. I will never forget how far we came as a team and the potential we had. Mr. Martell was right when he said that we will never forget this experience. I am so proud of how far we came as a team despite a tough semifinal loss. But hey, third in state isn't bad at all. Thank you to Mr. Zinzemire, O'Connell, McCarthy, Hayfley, Clark, and Martell. I will always hold my Sluh soccer memories close to my heart. Mr. Martell, you have been a great coach, role model, and friend. Thank you, and congrats on All Region Private School Coach of the Year.